The story of Elon Musk is in fact the story of a boy with impossible dreams, born in Pretoria, South Africa, who from early childhood was more fascinated by books, science fiction tales, and computers than by games in the playground, a boy who at the age of just 12 created a small video game, sold it, and realized in that very moment that if a child could do something like this with imagination and persistence, then as a grown man he could truly change the entire world, and with that belief, he set his eyes on America, because he knew that if there was any land where dreams could be turned into reality, it was the United States. Yet the beginning of his journey there was not at all easy, for he had little money, lived in rented rooms, did small jobs while studying, and kept his mind occupied with ideas that could reshape the future, until one day he, along with his brother, started a company called Zip2 that offered maps and business directories to newspapers, and this idea became such a success that within a few years it was sold for millions of dollars, giving Elon his first major breakthrough, but he refused to stop there because inside him burned a fire to do something even bigger, so he launched another company called X.com, which later became known worldwide as PayPal, a system that revolutionized the way money could move online, and when that company too was sold, Musk suddenly found himself a wealthy man, rich enough to live comfortably for the rest of his life, yet money was never his ultimate purpose. His purpose was transformation, and so he dared to dream the greatest dream of all. That humanity should not remain confined to Earth alone, that we must reach for the stars, that one day people must live on Mars, and that dream gave birth to SpaceX, but the path was filled with pain, because his first 3 rocket launches failed, millions of dollars vanished, the media laughed at him, and people called him a fool who was burning money for nothing, yet Elon did not surrender. He spent days and nights inside the factory, sleeping beside the engineers, solving problems himself, until finally the 4th rocket succeeded, piercing the skies, and at that very moment NASA stepped forward to say they would work with him, a turning point that transformed him in the world's eyes from a reckless dreamer into a serious pioneer of space exploration. But Musk's vision was never limited to space alone, for he also looked back at Earth and saw how much destruction cars burning petrol and diesel were causing to the climate, so he decided the world needed electric vehicles, thus he founded Tesla Motors, and though people ridiculed the idea, saying no electric car company could ever succeed, time itself proved them wrong, for today Tesla stands as one of the most valuable car companies on the planet, producing not only cars but also batteries, solar power solutions, and advancing clean energy technology, while Musk simultaneously began projects like Neuralink, to connect the human brain with machines and prepare humanity for the future. And though his path was lined with obstacles, times when he had so little money left that he had to choose between feeding his family or saving his company, and he chose the company, his sacrifices only strengthened his resolve, until finally he rose to become one of the richest men alive, though when asked what his greatest treasure is, he always says, "My dreams," because money can disappear but dreams, if kept alive, can rebuild everything, and that is why even today he carries the biggest dream of all: to take humans to Mars and build colonies there in the coming century, and perhaps one day, when a child opens a history book on Mars, he will read that it all began with one dreamer on Earth, a man named Elon Musk, whose life teaches us that if you believe in your vision, if you refuse to be broken by failure, and if you embrace perseverance as your closest companion, then no force in the universe can stop you from changing the world. Even after all these successes, Elon Musk's story kept moving forward. He didn't stop after rockets and electric cars, instead, he kept adding new dreams. With Starlink, he launched thousands of small satellites so that even the most remote villages in the world could have internet. With Neuralink, he began testing ways to help paralyzed people walk again and blind people see again, showing that technology could heal, not just build machines. He even created the Boring Company, digging tunnels to reduce traffic in big cities. Of course, there were problems too. Many of his rockets exploded before finally succeeding. Tesla nearly went bankrupt during the early Model 3 production, and his bold tweets often created controversy. Some people loved him, calling him a genius, while others thought he was reckless. But whether people agreed or disagreed, one thing was clear: the world could not ignore Elon Musk. Today, he is still building, still dreaming, and still working on ideas many call impossible. Maybe one day people will use Starship to fly to Mars. Maybe Tesla cars will dominate every road. Maybe Neuralink will give hope to people who lost hope long ago. Musk himself says he doesn't care if he becomes poor again, what matters is that humanity keeps moving forward. His story is not finished yet, but it already shows us that when dreams are bigger than fear, they can change the whole world.